Hello everyone and welcome to Augmintech. So today I am going to show you a very nice secret hack that you can use in your SketchUp modeling. Now we all know the tool scale. Now the scale tool as we know it works very simply. Let's say if I have this model, I can click on the scale tool and either scale it like this or actually scale it up and down. So there are so many ways I can do it. But what happens is what we think while we are scaling is that once you click on this, you have to type in a value. Let's say if I type in 1.5, it will convert the complete model into 1.5 of its original scale. Then if I have to make it smaller, I will go from 0.5 and then it becomes half of it. So in this case, what happens is we have to think a lot about how much, you have to scale it down. And maybe you only want to scale a part of it. And maybe you just know some feet and inches that you want to do it with or some MMs. So here I'm going to be talking about furniture. So I'm using MMs. But you can see how we can do this is, let's say this height that I have here is 1219 mm. So I'm just going to make it 1200 so it's easier. 19 and this side also I'm going to 19. Okay. So now this is 1200 by 1200. Now let's say I want to select this and what I want to do is the width needs to be the same. The height I need to adjust and make it 3 feet. Now, if I have to now calculate, if I have to, make it 1 feet shorter, how many, how much should be the 0.5 scale be, or should it be like 0.8, should it be 0.9? So you do not have to think about it. Once you are doing this, once you are, clicking on one segment, you are clicking on this one point and you click once, then you take it downwards. Here you can actually type in 1 feet and press enter. And you will see that it has actually changed the total height of it from your 1200 mm to 305 mm, which is 1 feet. So similarly, let's say you only want to, make it smaller slightly. You just want it to be like 3 feet, which is 900 mm. So I can type in 900 mm and press enter. Oh, sorry, I think it just blew up. So I'm just going to take it down and say 900, not 900, 300 mm and press enter. And it is going to take it above. Okay, I think it is taking feet and inches. So I'm just going to give it 2 feet or 3 feet. Yeah, and it has now become smaller. Yeah, now you can check that this height is 3 feet, which is 914 mm. Now, what this actually does is whatever point you are selecting, be it the top point or the corner point or the center point like this one, it is going to just change the distance between these two. So whatever you are typing will become the new distance. So if you want to maybe change it, diagonally, you can also do that. If you want to change it from this side, so maybe you can also do that. I am going to say, let's say 1 feet here. And it has changed the distance between the 2 points to be 1 feet, which is 305 mm. So I hope that's clear. Now, this is something that most of the people do not know that you can do this. Then let's consider now to work it with just one face. So this is one face. Now I want to convert it into whatever size. Now diagonally you can change it. So if I change it from here, you can see that this is going to change the distance. So either if I do this, it is giving me some ellipse, but I want it to be very specific. So I can say 6 inches. And now the gap between the two edges is going to be 6 inches, which makes my slit exactly how I want it to be. So here you do not have to do the guesswork. You do not have to do any mathematics, and it is going to do it for you. Now, another thing that you can do with this is maybe you just want to change the top height or the top width. So let's say this is the top panel that I've selected. Now I am just going to change this width into, let's say I want it to be 2 feet. And you can see that it has changed the top width into 2 feet. So with the help of selection and your scale tool, you can do anything about in this one. So maybe I can now change the element here. Maybe I want to make it, thinner. So you can do that as well. So let's make it thinner. So I'm going to say 2 feet here. and you can see that the complete shape has changed. So you can use this tool to create as many complex shapes you want, and the elements that you are creating are going to be exactly the size you want them to be. So if I want to, scale this one right now, I can scale it back and I say 2 feet, and it is going to give me the same, the same shape that I had before. So you can create any sorts of elements. Now, if I look at this shape here, I have a push and pull tool option also to make it higher or smaller. But what if I want to scale the whole object, but I just want to scale the height of it without distorting it? So let me take an example of this chair. So I'm going to just copy this chair here. Okay, so here you go. Now, if I want to scale this chair, and if I just want to do it like this, it is going to distort it completely. Do you see what it did? Now, what if I want to increase the height, but I do not want it to get extorted? How do I do that? So I'm going to just copy this once again. And now, when you start with the extension here, when you start moving it or creating it like this, now it is impossible for me to do this. You can press shift and then move it up and down. It is going to proportionately scale your object. But what happens with this is, once you press shift, now you cannot actually type in any segment, and which is what makes it very difficult. So what if this is the element? Now I press shift. Okay, so I'm going to press shift and make it go up, and without clicking anywhere else, I'm just going to type 2 feet and press enter. Now you can see what it has done is, it has very proportionately changed the height of the backrest and added the distance between the 2 feet. Now this is not something which is ideally that we want to do, but let's say this was the size that you were getting, and now you want to change it back and you want to create it into a variation where the height of the complete chair is 3 feet. So I'm just going to quickly make it big. This is very important when you are actually importing models from outside. Maybe you're getting a chair, and when you enter it to a new model, it immediately changes. It kind of becomes like either very big or very small. So in this option, when you're working with your shift option in this section, you can create it to be whatever size you want. So I'm going to just say 3 feet and press enter, and you can say that it has become 3 feet. But to make it more specifically possible, try and go for diagonal. So we press shift and we take it down, and here I'm going to type 3 feet. So it is giving me the exact scale I want to. Then again, if I want to change the scale according to just the top part, again I can press shift, make it go downwards. Now I am simply going to just, okay, when I remove shift, it is happening this way. So let's not remove shift. I'm just going to take it here, press backspace, give it a height of 3 feet, and there you go. There you have gotten the size of the height. Now for the width, since it's a very complex object, we'll have to do the shifting for the width also. So I'm going to give it a width of, let's say, 18 inches. So that's the width I want. And for my depth also, I want to change that. So, sorry, I want to press shift, press the depth, and give it a depth of, again, 20 inches. So now the chair that I have is the height of 3 feet, the width is 18 inches, and the depth is 20 inches, just like I wanted it to be. Now you can also see if you want to change the height certain way. So maybe this is the height which we have, which is 500 mm, which is good enough. But if you want to make it smaller, we can do that as well. So I can press shift again, and then the height, instead of 2 feet, I'm going to do 2 feet 8 inches. Oops, sorry. So we can do 30 inches. And it has now given me a perfect height, perfect width, whatever I wanted. Now that is the scale for me. So this is the beauty of the scale tool. It is not just you doing it in percentages or whatever. It is the exact size that you can get just by using the basic scale tool. Now, instead of creating, like, this is the chair that I also downloaded from outside. Now you can see this is any height that the chair was, whatever, whoever modeled it, it's that size. Now, if I have a very specific area, because being interior designers, you have very specific areas and you want to have a very specific height, width, and length. So you can do that without distorting your product, and you can scale it with the help of Shift tool. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you'll forward this to more of your friends who are into working with SketchUp. So stay tuned for more such hacks and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.